Hey guys, Justin here with JHart Modelworks with an update on the Lamborghini Countach buddy build we're doing with Kyle from RKD Speedworks. We have a ton of stuff done on this. We're very close to being finished, to be honest. A lot more progress than I thought we were going to have. So there's a lot of stuff to go over. Let's go ahead and flip this camera around and take a look at where we're at. Alright guys, we're going to start with the interior. Everything is done with the interior except gluing the dashboard to the tub. I wanted to keep these separate just so I could have an easier time showing you what all we've got going on here. So as you can see, we've got all of our gauges in there. Those look fantastic. All of our buttons. We have our stereo. So all of these are Quinta Studios decals. So Quinta Studios did a 3D printed decal set for Aushima's version of the Lamborghini Countach 5000 QV. I grabbed them anyway, hoping that they would work, and they do work very well on the Fujimi kit. Now, they don't have the side air vents, and I had chiseled them off thinking they did, so I just kind of 3D modeled up my own little air vents there. They're not fantastic, but they're good enough. You do have to chisel off all of the raised detail. So you need to take like a chisel and some sandpaper and just clean off all the stereo and some buttons. There's some buttons down here. There aren't any for the gauges, so those lay down really nice. The Quinta Studios decals, the instructions for the most part are good, except for the fact that these decals, they say should go in here, but on the Aoshima kit there's a raised surface there that they would go to. On the Fujimi kit, that has been moved to the dashboard. So when you put these together, they sit in pretty much the exact same place. This is one of my last two round, very tiny Lamborghini logos from the MSM creation sheet. I used the other one on top of the gear shift, and those are impossible to find now. Everyone who lists them lists that they're sold out. Apparently they've been out of production for a while. But yes. Now this is not the correct steering wheel. The kit steering wheel for the 25th anniversary, the steering wheel is completely flat, but I wanted that round circle in there so that I could put a decal in there and just give it a little bit more, just that little extra something. Again, we had to chisel off the detail for the vents and the AC controls. The Quinta Studio set actually contains a bunch of different setups for the AC controls. They have different sets of these buttons, different sets of these buttons. So the 5000 QV, the 25th anniversary car, I think the 5000S, all kind of had different button layouts and instrument controls. Like these are analog in the other cars. In the 25th anniversary, the AC controls were digital. Stuff like that. I did not like the gear shift for the kit. The gear shift looks kind of like a weird golf club. I was going to show it to you, but apparently I've already thrown it away. So there will be a picture in one of these corners showing you what the actual gear shift looks like. I'm really not a fan of that gear shift. So I 3D printed up the shift knob that I designed for something else. I want to say it was the Firebird build, but it looks very much like the 5000 QV shift knob, and I like that shift knob a lot better. After doing all of that and cutting off a sewing pin I cut the top off the sewing pin and just glued my head to it to get that nice chrome shifter. I then found out that there was the 5000Q V shifter in the kit parts as well. We have flocked with some nice gray flocking. Everything in here, all this white is actually Mr. Surfacer primer. I didn't put any paint on except for this purple, which I don't remember which purple this is. But it is a water-based acrylic. So all of that got airbrushed in. That looks really nice. So the kit includes this hardware for these mount points, the hardware for the seat belts, this interior hardware, and it's exactly like it should be for the most part. There are some slight differences, but for the most part, it's exactly like it should be for the car. They give you the instructions for how to make the seat belt, but they never show you anywhere installing any of the seatbelt hardware that they included in the kit. So that is an issue with the instructions. It's never going to tell you to install them. You just need to install them when you're wrapping up towards the end of doing the interior. The pedals are supposed to be black, but honestly I wanted to give them just a little extra, so I gave them some silver on the pedals themselves. Yeah, all in all, that looks really, really good. I am very happy with how it turned out. And what you're going to want to do is there's a ridge there. You're just going to slide this right in like this. And when you get it to line up, there it goes. It should sit pretty much just like that. Alright, now for the body. We have a lot of progress done on the body. Now I've spent about 4 days sanding and polishing out the body. And just doing one small section at a time until I got it where I want it. But as you can see, we've got a really nice finish. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. We then went off and masked and sprayed all of our trims. So all of our windows are trimmed in black. The rubber trim in the engine bay and the front trunk is done. We masked off some of the clear parts and sprayed them black, so we've got all of our trim done. Now, as I've said before, the decals for this kit are completely shot. I'm not able to use any of them. There is a decal for this 25th anniversary logo. It's actually in black, which isn't right for the car, as is this bull. So I found on Colts 3D someone did the bull. Maybe it wasn't on, I don't know where I found it, but someone had 3D modeled the bull as an STL. So I was able to shrink that down and get that to fit. And then I 3D modeled the 25th anniversary with the 25 and the laurels. And I'm really surprised that these two were able to print as nice as they did, being shrunk down as far as they are. But I got really nice results from them. So I went ahead and painted them up in a really nice bronze and got those glued in place. All of the clear parts are done now, all but the windshield is in. And this glass is incredibly frustrating. There's a lot of it too. These windows are actually it's 4 separate pieces of glass on each side. These drop in from the back. There's a bevel to each piece of glass, so it has to sit inside the window trim, and it has to go in from the inside. This one, however, goes in through the outside. If you try to set it from inside, it does not sit right due to, again, the way the bevels are done. So you have to get that set in from the outside. There's some issues with the instructions on these front lamps, not the glass covers, but the actual clear parts inside that you paint orange, as well as these side indicators. So the kit instructions refer to these as G21 and G23. These are not G23. This is G21 and G22. it refers to the side indicators as G29. They are in fact G23. So when you go and you look for these, it's not going to line up right. You just got to pay attention. You need to mask off and paint the trim on these clear covers. That was a lot of fun. We have some driving lights down here in the bumper. Our tail lights, the masking for these was fun. It wasn't incredibly difficult. I was able to mask them off because these poke in through the holes, so there's recesses between each light, which makes them easier to mask off. But that little, whatever that red thing is, I don't know if that's a turn signal or if that's the brake light, but it's in the reverse light. Masking that off was an absolute pain because that top edge is very, very narrow. But we were able to get that done. Those look really good. And we've got these rear reflectors down here. Now, I lost this one. And I searched and I searched. I searched for a couple of hours trying to find it. I pulled everything out from around my desk. I swept the area. I swept the whole kitchen looking for it. Could not find it. Then, because of my anxiety, I couldn't go to sleep until I had 3D modeled up a replacement using this one for dimensions. I set that up to print. I went off to work. I came home. The prints had failed, so I was trying to reset them up and set them off to print again. And I looked down, and this little bugger right here was sitting on top of my computer on the grill for the exhaust fan on the top of the computer. So I found it, I got it in place, and I'm very, very happy that I was able to find that because the clear parts were just giving me fits. I'm pretty sure that is just compound, so I need to get in there and clean that compound out of there. I will get that done here soon. But yeah, that is for the most part where we are with the body. Like I said, the only thing that we are missing glass-wise is the front windshield. That one has hacked me off. Y'all remember those cars in the 80s had those bands, the sun strip bands across the top, and they were translucent and they kind of faded down into blue. I have attempted to paint these 23 times. I've had so many failures. I started out trying to paint it with Tamiya smoke, and I hate Tamiya smoke. It never wants to lay down right for me. It either lays down really dry and rough and textury, or if I keep spraying long enough, it will finally go wet, but then it goes on really thick and it runs and sags. So several attempts were done with that. A couple of attempts I actually got to look pretty decent, and then dust would land in it and you could see the dust through, and it was very obvious you could see the dust, and then that annoyed me. What I ended up eventually doing was mixing Tamiya's clear blue with Mr. Hobby's clear black. And I have no idea what the ratios are because I was just adding drops until it looked right. I put about 4 coats of that mixture on here, and then I switched to just the clear black, and I started aiming just for that top edge, basically painting the top half with the clear black, and did about another 4 coats or so. And the results, I am actually really happy on the 23rd attempt. You can see we've got that translucence. It fades down into the blue just like I want. To me, in my opinion, it may be a little bit darker than on the actual original car, but for me, that is absolutely spot on what I'm looking for. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is dropping a little bit of the Bob Smith Super Gold Plus on this bottom edge and getting a little bit on this top edge. And then carefully trying to set this in place without getting glue on everything. So once I get it in place, I'm going to let that cure up for a good hour or two. Then I'm going to come in with either some Deluxe Materials, looks like glass, which is like a clear acrylic. It does pretty much the same thing a lot of guys do with the floor polish, whatever. I'm either going to use the looks like glass, or I'm going to use some watered down Mod Podge in a brush, and I'm going to try and get it to wick down this side and get in the seam between there without making a whole lot of mess. The nice thing about that is that because it is a water-based acrylic, you can remove the excess with some water and then just let it dry. And hopefully between the CA glue on the top edge and the looks like glass on the sides, that will give it enough grip to just hold it in place, because as you see, there's not anything really holding this in place other than just the bevel to the glass and the bevel on the body on that trim, and you've got to sit it just right and it holds in place. But if you push it the wrong way, if it comes loose, it will fall in a heartbeat. So hopefully between the two glues I can get it to sit in and not make a mess. Fingers crossed. Until then, we're going to wipe all my grubby fingerprints back off of it. When you get your glasses, because a lot of us are up there in age, try to see if they will give you any extras of these glasses polishing cloths, because these are awesome for polishing clear parts. And then you wrap your windshield in it, and you stick it in a little baggie, like a Ziploc sandwich bag. I have a whole bunch of these jewelry bags that I ship 3D printed parts in, and that'll keep your glass from getting damaged until you can get it in the car. Alright guys, that should be a wrap for this video. Our next steps are pretty much going to be to get this interior mounted up into the body. You're supposed to glue it to the chassis and then just insert the whole thing into the body. I don't know if I'm going to do that or if I want to sit this in the body and glue it in place so that I'm sure that it will sit better. We'll see. What I will most likely do is when I'm ready, I will get the body, the chassis, and interior. I will just dry fit them all together and see how it sits together without any glue, and then make my decision from there. After that, it is all kind of downhill. Get the engine covers on, get everything in place, get the wheels on, throw the exhaust on, and it's pretty much good to go. I do have the license plates designed for the car. I have not printed them up yet because I usually print those at the same time I do my toll tag and my registration sticker, and I'm not certain if this is going to get finished in May or the beginning week of June. So I'm going to wait until I'm done so I can correct the date on that. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I always appreciate you watching the videos, and I will catch you on the next one.